Hello there. This tutorial is about deformations and how to use them. Now, deformations are located here, and you got a bunch of basics and a bunch of advanced deformations. I'm only going to go into the basic parameters of deformations. So here we go. Let's start off with a primitive, and let's start off with a bend because it's the most obvious to use at first. Now, first thing you need to know is a deformation needs to be a child object of another object. Once I use it, then it actually has effect. But what happens here is that there's so few subdivisions in my cube that it's actually shearing and not bending. So the first thing I need to know is how many subdivisions does my polygon surface or primitive have. Let's put in 20, 20, 20. That looks about enough. Then there's another thing. The bend also has a fit to parent. As long as it's a parent to an object, it will fit to that object. And it's a pretty tight fit, so I usually just bump it up a little bit so I see the blue lines, etc. Once you have it onto an object, you can actually make it invisible so that it doesn't bother you, all the blue lines in your viewport. Right, that's one thing. Now, there's another way to do this. If your object is not very willing to bend, you can also solve this in another way. And I'll just make a copy of what I have here, shift it to the other side. And now I'm just taking off the bend, like this. And I'm actually selecting both objects and grouping it with Alt-G on your keyboard, and you have exactly the same thing. Only thing is, the bend won't work. Well, the bend will work, but the fit to parent won't work. Sorry. Fit to parent won't work because it's not parented to the cube, it's parented to the null object. And the null object is nothing, it's just a pivot point. So that's one thing. Let's just get rid of that one and focus on this one and make the bend visible again. If I take the strength off, I can show you that the bend also works but it works differently when I change the dimensions of the bend itself. And if I open it now, you can see that it makes a very short turn. Also, let's pump this up because the subdivisions are too low. This is a crazy amount, I know, but it's a way nicer bend now. You can actually combine different deformations. To do that, you just add more children, for instance, the twist. But these objects are in a certain order. So if I put the twist in first, it will first twist the object and then bend it. The other way around would mean something like this. You get a completely different object. Of course, you can all make this invisible and start using it like this. Now, say we want to save this object. This is the shape it should have with the deformations on it, but I don't want to keep the deformations. First of all, you make this cube editable, but you don't really have to. You can also go straight to Mesh Conversion, Current State to Object. It will make a copy, and the copy is obviously a mesh. And I'll just delete it, and this is now a polygon mesh with a hell of a lot of subdivisions, but it's deformed the way you like it without the deformations on it. This is, of course, destructive. You can only undo this by Control-Z and getting your original object back. This is non-destructive because I can still change it. Well, good luck with that, and try out some of the weirder ones and figure out how they work.